Good morning, or actually, good afternoon, my precious people. What we're going to work on today is we're going to work on taking some word problems and translating them into algebraic expressions to solve them. This will definitely be on LEAP test. This is definitely a skill that you need to know. We've solved equations. We're just going to work on setting them up from word problems. First thing you know, you want to read the problem. 331 students went on a field trip. 6 buses were filled and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see, okay, what is it that I want to solve for? Well, it tells me that in a question. I don't have to look for that. It wants to know how many students were in each bus. Okay, so that's what we don't know. We don't know how many students were in each bus. Then I'm going to look at, okay, well, what information do they give me that I can use to solve for that? And so I look and I see, okay, there were 331 students that went on that field trip. No matter how they traveled, whether they went on a bus or whether they went in a car, altogether there were 331 students on that trip, okay? Then the next thing I know is they tell me that there are 6 buses that were filled. So there are 6 buses filled. And then they tell me that for some reason, whatever it was, 7 students out of that 331 went in cars. And I'm sorry, but my cat wants to learn math too. So what we don't know is we don't know how many students were on each bus. They want us to figure that out. So I'm going to let that be my variable. B is going to be equal the number on a bus. So I'm going to let B equal the number on a bus. So that takes care of my variable. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to look and see what I do know. Okay, well, what I do know is I know that there were a total of 331. So if that's a total with the buses and the cars, I know that that means that this is going to equal 331. So I'm going to put that right there. Then the next thing I look, and so that takes care of this, and that takes care of this. Then I look at what else they told me. Well, they told me that 7 of the students traveled in cars. And it says, and 7. So, and, as we've talked about before, means that it's plus. So I'm going to put this plus 7 right here. And then I look and I say, okay, well, there are 6 buses that were filled. Well, we don't know how many people it takes to fill that bus, but there's a little cattail for you. Sorry about that. But we know that there were 6 buses there. So we know that there are 6 buses with some number of students on it. And so our equation is 6 buses filled with students plus the 7 students in a car equal 331. And now all we have to do is work it. Here's my 6B. My B is all wrapped up with my 6, so I can't get rid of that yet. I'm going to have to get rid of the 7. I'm adding 7, so I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And that's going to give me 6B is equal to 324. And then I'm now multiplying 6 times B. So I'm going to divide by 6. And I'm going to get B is equal to, 6 goes into 32 5 times with 2 left over. And 6 goes into 24 4 times. So 54 students on a bus. And I can double check that by saying 6 times 54 would be 24, carry your 2, 324, plus 7 equals 331. So it works. So that is my correct answer. There were 54 students on that bus. Okay. We're going to do one more today because we're just going to do a little math each day. I told you it'd be 5 to 10 minutes. Aaliyah had $24 to spend on 7 pencils. After buying them, she had $10. How much did each pencil cost? Okay, so we know that this girl has some money to spend on pencils. And we want to know our question, what we're solving for is we want to know how much did each pencil that she bought cost. They give us some information. She has $24 to spend. She's going to buy 7 pencils. And then after buying them, she still had $10 left over. Okay? So what we don't know is we don't know the cost of the pencil because they tell us that we're looking for how much did each pencil cost. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my variable, and I'm going to do P equals pencil cost. Okay? And then I'm going to start seeing what I know. Well, I know that in the end, after she bought everything, she still had $10. So I'm going to put equals $10 because at the end she had $10. And I know that Aaliyah, when she went to the store and she got started, she had $24. And so that's where she started. So she started with 24. And then she bought. So if she bought, that means she had to pay. So she had to give them money. So that's not going to be added. If you give them money, you're going to subtract that from what you got because they don't pay you to take their pencils. You have to pay them. And what she paid was for 7 pencils. And we don't know how much they cost. That's our variable. So our equation is going to be 24 because that's what she started with, minus 7 pencils. We don't know how much, but we know in the end she had $10. Now, we can't get rid of negative 7p, this minus 7p yet, because we got to get rid of 24. Now, it's a positive 24, so we're going to subtract it. And we're going to subtract from both sides. And we're going to have negative 7p, because this is going to cancel. 24 is larger, so I'm going to keep the negative sign and subtract is equal to negative 14. And now I have just the cost of my pencils. Negative 7p is equal to negative 14. Since I'm multiplying by negative 7, I'm going to divide by negative 7. And I'm going to get p is equal to, negative divided by negative is a positive $2. And if you had gotten a negative here, you would have known that that was incorrect because there's no way something can cost a negative. That would mean that they're paying you to take it and nobody pays you to take something. If they do, you need to check that out because that's a little bit shady. So the pencils cost $2 a piece. So I would come over here and I would put pencils cost $2 each. And I'm going to double check it. 7 times 2 is 14. 24 minus 14 equals 10. So I know that that worked. So we did that one correctly. I hope that you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope you're enjoying time with your family. Be praying for this situation that we're all in. It's a strange one. I've never experienced anything like it. I miss y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all again tomorrow about the same time for another lesson. Have a good one. Bye-bye.